Hey there, party people. Today I want to take a little walk with Dushkan Suri and talk to you about the SAVE Act. A lot of people say the SAVE Act is like bad, or it's Jim Crow, or it makes it where people can't vote, but the real truth is that the SAVE Act makes it where fucking scumbags can't cheat, where ballot mules can't mule, where motherfucking you at least have to have an ID to register to vote. I don't think it goes far enough. I support what I would call the Thumbs Act. The Thumbs Act will require that every single person have some kind of a real ID to vote. Now, I don't have a real ID, and I realize I could lose my vote, but you know what? I would rather lose my vote than have some jagoff stuff 4 fucking handfuls of ballots in a fucking Dropbox somewhere. It would be better to me to pair against 16 fake people than to have them not only essentially erase my vote, but erase the votes of 15 other legitimate Americans who want their opinions to be heard and want the national politics to reflect our desires and our expectations. So, if the government gets defunded, I will not get food stamps. Beyond a certain point, I might not even get a comp check. I'm not real happy about that. But you know what? I would take my chances and cook fucking squirrels for lunch before I would let these sons of bitches get away with whatever they want. So I guess the Democrats, especially my fucking scumbag representative and senators who, don't give a shit about me for sure. If you guys don't support this and there's cheating, I will get rid of enough of your supporters to make up for the cheating that you have done. Enough of your actual supporters, okay? That's where it's at. Part of being a militia person and recognizing your responsibility in the Militia Act, and technically, I don't have to do it. I really haven't had to do it since last May when I turned 48, because the Militia Acts affect people from the ages of 17 to 47. I don't have to be called up. I don't have to defend this country. I can say, no, I'm too old. I don't want to. But you know what? I'm not gonna. Because I love this fucking country. And I don't necessarily think that millennials and Gen Z are gonna fucking do it. So I feel like maybe instead of worrying about little bullshit and where it affects us, we should put this nation and its constitution first and say, even if I end up absolutely fucking destitute, without a pot to piss in or a window to throw it out of, it's still worth it to do the right thing for my country. So I don't know. The SAVE Act probably doesn't go nearly far enough. But holy shit, the mask off moment when those fucking scumbags in the Senate came out, oh no, it's a non-starter, it's dead on arrival. The fuck it is. No, it's not. What's dead on arrival is your continuing political career, because you're no longer going to be able to freaking have fake people, and you're no longer going to be able to have people who are not supposed to be here be able to pretend to be part of the voting body politic. So, again, it doesn't go far enough. But it is a step. And that step has to be taken so that other steps can be taken. And we have like another year before midterms and 3 years before the next national election. I don't want to see all of the progress we have go out the fucking window. So not everybody sees it as progress, but you know what? Even if domestic affairs aren't everything we'd like them to be, and our country internationally has gone from being a fucking joke, represented by a fucking diaper-wearing pedophile, to an absolute fucking terror, or even our allies who've abused us in the past and expected us to pay all their fucking bills for them are on notice. The people who are trying to push their long-term plans of, run out the fucking white people and destroy any of their fucking national cohesion, like, they're on the fucking ropes right now. The globals see, like, we're gonna knock down borders and get rid of local ordinances and make everybody comply with their national... Nah, fuck that. Those people are really hurting right now. And to me, that is worth any little bit of discomfort I have in my personal life. I feel like that is how things need to be. That's how things always needed to be. And, man, I wish that the office of the president could be broken down into, like, 6 different spheres of influence and then, like, given over different, a committee of people in the cabinet and just have the president adjudicate. I think maybe that's kind of how it's supposed to go with the, ministerial system, but it doesn't feel like that's how it actually goes. Anyway, I didn't vote for Trump in 2016. I hated fucking Clinton so much that I decided Trump was kind of a distraction. I voted for Alice Cooper. I wrote in for a fucking musician. Well, hey, he wants to be elected. He deserved it. But with that said, a protest vote doesn't do anything for your fucking country. And when I went to work for the census in 2020, Trump fired some ass clown from the Obama administration who was keeping our wages at $14 for, having to go through the entire process to be federal appointees, like the badging and all the other crap. It was fucking miserable. Well, 3 months in, he fired that jackass from Office of Personnel Management and got somebody else who gave us an immediate $3 raise. Now suddenly, as a recruiter, I was actually able to get people who wanted to work because, the money was there. The stupid restrictions for the regular federal employee were not there. It was great. My only complaint about the census is the centennials get to be unemployed for about 9 years for every year you get to work. I really wish there was some other kind of jobs they could get shunted into for the times between. Anyway, good management is something amazing unto itself. It's just that in 30 jobs and 3 military postings, I never saw it. I never, my brother had a sharp awakening the first time he got a toxic leadership chain that wanted to fucking bust him down and not promote him up. And I was just kind of shrugging my shoulders. It's I'm so happy for you that you had all these other units that were not full of fucking shit. Because every unit I went to was full of shit. Wanted to keep me far, far from home, far, far away from this beautiful place that I absolutely fucking love, that is my heart. And, we're not interested in anything I had to say. The only time they had to was when it came to contract renegotiation. And it's well, if you do this, if you extend, you can go to Sinai with us and sit in a tent. I can sit in a tent at home, guy. Well, if you re-enlist, you can, you can finally get Fort Lewis. I'm like, you had fucking 440 187s from Korea, another 2 from Campbell to send me there already, and you wouldn't do it. So maybe we should just make it easy and find the crappiest National Guard unit nearby that we can and just go there. Man, was that ever a mistake? I should have asked for tryouts for 5th Special Forces Group, not for fucking HHC. Anyhow, not everything's going to go your way, and you just have to expect that. But taking somebody's word for it who gets millions of dollars from dark money special interests as to what's good and bad for your country and what things are is just as bad. The difference between Schumer and Thune is not enough. They are both out there, not for us, not for the body politic, not to fucking bring in people. They're going to use the official talking points of the party because they're also using the official fundraising methods of the party. And that disgusts me. So, kind of a ramble. I guess I'm rambling both ways. But there is no excuse for abandoning what is important to your country and your nation for what is important to a political party. And that is why I and half of Oregon are non-affiliated voters. We don't like what the Democrats can do, but we don't really like the Republicans that much either. We just want the least amount of disruption, the most amount of freedom, the most amount of prosperity, and the most amount of accountable government, and we're not getting it. So we have every reason to be upset. You guys are so cute. Dushka, Sudiev, my brave pups. Love you guys. Anyway, we have to be able to get things back under control. If we have 535 dumbasses in Congress, and we are, let's say, 6 million people, then each of us has 1,000th of a say. But by the time we are 300 million people, we each have a 25,000th of a say. And if those people are going to spend 25% of their time fundraising or more, and they're going to make the kind of sacrifices that you and I would want to throw up in our mouth a little bit about, they're not really representing us. They're representing their donors. And that is disgusting. If we wanted to do that, we'd go all the rest of the way to the corporation of the United States, and we just have a board, and that would be it. We vote based on how much stock we have, and nobody who, the place would serve nobody but oligarchs, just like Russia. So Russia is a great place. We have, unfortunately, a lot of rich industrialists who are close to the government, and then there are a bunch of patriotic people at the bottom who get almost nothing, and who get, you know, demanded over and over, hey, I need 20 million more of your sons to go grind up in Ukraine, because 3 territories worth of our Slavic brothers were getting experimented on against their fucking will. We're getting shelled all the fucking time. We're getting, you know, vanished in the middle of the fucking night, all of, like, Yugoslavia. And the reason this happened was because Obama and Biden, the rest of those clowns, went into Ukraine in 2014 and installed a bunch of CIA scumbags in there to try and fucking start a little problem. Well, I mean, if your goal was just to draw out all of Russia's armor and blow it up, I guess that's mission accomplished. But, you know, Ukraine isn't going to have a man in the territory between the ages of like 15 and 70 because they've blown them all up. We don't have any of our cool classic military gear because we have sent it all to be blown up as well, so that we could use Ukraine's money or credit for Ukraine's money or fucking fundraise money, any kind of bullshit like that, to build new stuff. I mean, that's not terrible, but it's terrible for Ukraine. It's not really good for Russia, and it definitely isn't good for Luhansk, Donetsk, or Crimea. Those people are not going to have a right to vote. They don't have a right to vote now. Zelinski's been in power for 6 or 8 or 10 years. Anyway, their constitution allows a person to have a term of 4 years as president, 1 term per person, no exceptions. And this asshole has fucking skated while lining his own pockets for like I think like a decade. Anyway, whether I'm wrong and it's 6 years or 10, in either case, he's gone long beyond his term limit. And that's not okay. And keeping the freaking battle going so we can keep our puppet government going is really bad on us. So, anyway, when I see all these channels, these people, these creators I like, but they're all fucking Ukraine hawks, and I'm just like, what the fuck, guy? Why should we be cheering for those people who are getting killed for no reason so that some fucking guy can send his money to old Sam Bankman-Fried and then back the fucking Democrats again? Like, there's this whole fucking really disgusting cycle we've seen in with Somalians in Minnesota, where they take the federal government for a ride and then they give kickbacks to people who are supposed to be gatekeeping them. Like, that is not okay. And if the best we can do with our politicians is essentially third-class mob bosses involved in money laundering, we need to make some fucking changes. Anyway, I think the SAVE Act is the first move in that direction. Busting those fucking clowns in Georgia that allowed 315,000 unsigned ballots to go through, that's a good move too. But I think the real issue is that we need a uniform standard, and that might take a constitutional amendment to make it stand. There has to be some basic level, or there has to be some kind of oversight enforcement mechanism where the people who are letting this stuff go by can get fucking arrested, can get imprisoned, or deported. Anyway, that's my rant for today. It's February 5th. It's another gorgeous, gorgeous day that I'm sure we're going to pay for in February, March, and maybe April. But I'm going to enjoy it while I can. I think for today, you can see my brother did a hell of a number on this cherry tree. But at least it's, moving in the upward direction again. I'm going to be working on those pear trees over there. They're fucking enormous. You can see the top of that 14-foot ladder doesn't even scratch the fucking surface. So I'm going to get what I can reach, and with a pair of loppers, and probably not do any sawing until we have time to work on my fucking old crappy chainsaw. Alright, thanks party people. Thanks for putting up yet another fucking lame-o We Fix Beta. That's a rant. This is We Fix, out.